Welcome back to another episode and another Moulder Monday. This episode's basically a continuation of episode 3. So let's recap. We've built the base of the Moulder mentality, the 3 P's: perseverance, positivity, and patience. Use those 3 P's for any situation in life, that mindset, and you'll get anywhere. Now, last episode, I posed you the question: do you want to chase purpose or not? No wrong answer, you get to decide. So, most of you who are still listening, you've probably decided, okay, I want to chase purpose. Tell me about it. How do I master it? And I said, well, there's 5 ways that you can do it. 5 ways. Here they are: vision, health, money, relationships, mindset. I'll say it again: vision, health, money, relationships, and mindset. If you master those 5 things in your life, you will reach your purpose. That's the big 5. Like I said, I got over 100 episodes planned out, so money, health, relationships, I'm going to do full season dives because there's so much to talk about. Right now, kind of just a brief overview, understanding these 5 things. And this season, this original season 1, is about vision and mindset. So let's break these 5 down. The first thing you need to master in life is your vision. And no, I'm not just talking about if you're 20/20 or not. If you have glasses, I'm sorry, but you'll still be fine. What I'm talking about is your life vision. First question: do you want purpose or no? First question I asked. I had a whole last episode about it. That is your vision. What do you want your everyday to be like? Do you want to be sitting in an office every day? Do you want to be on a beach every day? Where do you want your house to be located? Where do you want to have a family? What is your ideal life? You only get so much time. You might get 80 years if you're lucky. You might maybe only have tomorrow. So what do you want your ideal life to look like? Because you have the ability to create it. And the way you create it is typically by your career. Your career path is typically how you support your vision, because money is the tool that can guide your vision of life, most times. So what do you want your career to look like? And the unfortunate part of this world is that you're usually forced down a random career path when you're so young. 18 years old, you got to throw away $200,000 to a college, and you're not even sure what you want to do, but everybody's doing it, so it's what you got to do. And then you end up switching majors a couple of times, dropping out, switching colleges. But yeah, that's just how you got to do it. You got to figure it out early. So that's why you got to get thinking. You got to get thinking about these things. Understand your vision first so that the rest of your life doesn't crumble. So that you know the path you're trying to go down. Stop just going through the motions right now. Sit down. Ask yourself, what do I want to achieve from life? And once you figure that out or come close to it, ask yourself, is what I'm doing every day bringing me closer to that life? If not, you got to switch things up. Come up with a new game plan. If you are, keep going. But you have to ask yourself that question. What does my vision look like? How do I want my life to be? And if you're not living anywhere close to it or building towards that, then you need to figure it out quick because you don't got much time. But a way you can extend your time is number 2, health. That is the number 1 priority over everything. I say establish your vision first, but you need to focus on your health above all. Above all. Above making money, above relationships, above having fun, above everything. Health is your priority, because if you don't have it, none of that matters. If you're not healthy and you can't operate, you die. I told you guys I had all my concussion, anxiety problems. Trust me, I got a lot of health problems. But I said, you know what, I can't even operate when I have all these problems going on. I can't do my work. I can't focus on my goals. I can't focus on school. So I said, I'm going to figure out these problems. Every day I would sit down and say, okay, I'm going to figure this out. And I ended up figuring out a lot of my problems, and it's made my life way better, because now I don't have things constantly just pulling me down. And yeah, you're always going to have weird problems going on, and some people have some massive issues more than others. Maybe you get diabetes. What are you supposed to do? But you have to make sure that health is your first priority. and then everything else. Because if you don't focus on that, you are going to start getting these random health problems piling up on you. And who knows, you could get some sort of blood clot if you're not watching your diet, and then you're dead, or you're paralyzed potentially. And I have an entire season down the line of everything just focused on health. But the easy stuff I can tell you right now is make sure you're eating good food in your body. Make sure you're drinking water every single day. Make sure you're exercising every day. You don't have to be some super athlete. You don't have to be going on 10-mile runs every day, but you should be getting your steps in. That actually matters. How much you're moving every day, that matters. And the other biggest thing is your mental health, right? Your mind is all powerful. That's literally the whole point of the Moulder mentality, is that your mind shapes your reality. If your mind is not doing well, that also reflects to your physical health. So you need to make sure that you're taking care of your mindset, you're taking care of your mental health, and then you'll also be able to perform physically in life too. Remember, the brain is the most important muscle. You should be training it just like any other muscle. Making sure you're having good mental activities, making sure you're getting your mind right. Sometimes you need to socialize, sometimes you need to stay inside. Train your mind the same way you would with any other muscle. Okay, I've decided what purpose I want. I know the vision for it. I've set my goals. I'm healthy. I've focused on my health. Now what? Well, big number 3, money. Money is the root of all evil, but it is also the answer to everything. Do not let people tell you that money can't buy happiness. Money is a tool that can literally get you anything you want in life. Money is not the problem. You are the problem. All the people you see with money that are bad people, it's them. It's not the money. There's something wrong with them. It's not the money. I can promise you that. If you're a good person and you have money, you're probably still going to be a good person, right? Yes, money does change people's minds, and it's a very tough thing, and that's why if you listen to Moulder Mentality, I'll be able to help you with that so that money doesn't change you. But the goal is to get a lot of money, because then whatever your goals are, if you want to do nothing, you can do it because you'll have money. So why is money so important? Well, money is the way that we can now easily exchange value. That's what life is. Life is the exchange of value. A restaurant gives you food. You value the food so you can eat and survive. You give the restaurant paper, which is money, so that the restaurant can operate and so that they can provide more people food, and that the people, employees, owners can also provide for their family. It's an exchange of value from both sides. Before the fiat system, which is the system we're now, and before the gold standard as well, the only way you could exchange anything was through services. So maybe some person's a farmer and the other person's a shoemaker. The shoemaker would exchange shoes to the farmer, who would provide the food for the town, the village, or just that person. Service exchange. Now we've introduced the middleman of money to now be the way we exchange. We no longer exchange just simply services. We exchange the service for paper, just one way. I mean, honestly, in an ideal world, we'd still be back in the service exchange method, but that just can't work anymore when you can go on Facebook Marketplace and get shoes for $10 or even free. What's the point of having a shoemaker when I can literally get shoes for free now? So since we've introduced that middleman of money, it is a lot easier to just have a lot of money than just be really good at one specific thing. You're not going to go around to every fast food restaurant and say, hey, here's my shoes. If I give you my shoes, will you give me a burger? Do you think any of them are going to say yes? No. So unfortunately, in the new modern system, you got to have money. You got to have money or you won't survive. So your focus is, how can I provide value for someone who has money so I can get that money so then I can do what I want to do? And it sucks because if you're one of the fellows who chose the no purpose route, which no dissing on that at all, fortunately this world's extracted value from everything. Yeah, I'm just going to go sit in the woods and go fishing every day. That's fine. But guess what? You can't even do that without money. Oh, you need a fishing permit. You need a camping permit. Are you kidding me? You can't even camp in the woods anymore and fish for free. You can't. Everything's been extracted for value. It's insanity. So unfortunately, you have to get money. Money is the tool that will unlock whatever you want in your life. Moulder, this is pretty simple stuff. Obviously, we all want money. No, nobody really wants it that bad. And, thoughts like that where, oh yeah, man, sounds insanely capitalist. Well, that's just what you got to do. You got to play into the system so you can beat the system. Just how it is. If you really cared about money that much, you'd be making so much more. There's not just getting a job is the only way you can make money. There's a lot more ways. And the goal is to make as much money as fast as possible so then you can get out. Have you ever watched an award acceptance speech and they go up, they take their award and they say, wait, but first I want to thank my family, I want to thank my coaches, I want to thank, etc., etc., etc. They thank all the people that supported them. You know why? Because the only way to succeed in life, the only way to obtain that purpose you're setting out for is the people around you. Relationships are crucial to your life. Every day you deal with at least one relationship. Family, friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, co-workers, and the biggest, yourself. And don't you worry, I have an entire season on this too that breaks down every single faction of relationships in your life. Because the people in your life can dictate it just as much as you can. As much power as you have to control your life, the people around you constantly matter just as much. Starting at the root of where you live, your home, the people you live with, your parents, siblings, cousins, roommate, partner, etc. The relationships you have with the people you live with are the most crucial. Your home is where you find comfort. It's where you spend your true to self hours. And when you have a family member or roommate that derails that can completely diminish your life. And that's why having good relationship skills, mastering relationships, knowing when to keep the good ones, when to cut off the bad ones, is extremely important to your everyday. Most people's lives are miserable, and the problems can usually be tracked back to the people in their lives and the relationships they had. So now that you've established your vision, you're chasing that purpose, you've taken care of your health every single day, made it your priority, you've been able to get money as a tool to help aid your vision, and you've surrounded yourself with the right people every single day. The last thing left for you to master is your mindset. Everything could be going well in your life, but if your mind doesn't see it as that, then it all falls apart. You could have everything you want in life, but if your mind doesn't see it as that, it all falls apart. You have to master your mind. You have to master that you shape your reality. If you started switching your mind to living in other people's shoes that have it worse than you, it'd be so much easier to live life, Just think about how many people don't even get to hot shower every day. Still, there's probably about a quarter of the world that doesn't have internet access, right? You got it pretty nice. Some days might be bad, but at least you get a hot shower at the end of it. Your mind dictates your reality. Other people can see you as this horrible person, or other people can see you as this ugly person. It doesn't matter. It's whatever I think. I don't care what people think. Neither should you. So here's this. I'm a huge believer in the simulation theory. The simulation theory states that if it's possible down the line for us to be in a simulation, which if you look at the reality of today, it's very possible because there's literally already VR simulators that make things look like real life. You're telling me that thousands of years down the line we can't achieve that? So since it's possible to one day achieve reality simulation, that means there's a chance that we're in it right now. That means there's actually an infinite chance that we're in it right now. So there is a probability that right now nothing's real. Sounds lunatic to say it, but there is a probability that nothing is real. We could be so far down the line in the future that nothing matters anymore and it's all fake. You ever watch The Truman Show? That's literally what it could be. So if you imprint that into your mindset, okay, nobody's real, so I don't care what people think because they're not even real. They might just be animations. You might end up dying and they'll say, oh, congrats. How was your experience? What? Your mind shapes your reality. That is the only thing you can control, is you. The decisions you make, the thoughts you produce, how you react in life, that is the only thing you can control. So control it. Master those 5 things: vision, health, money, relationships, and your mindset. And then you will obtain that purpose that you set out for. You will achieve the life that you want to live. Master those 5 things. Next episode is an interesting one. It's going to be all about happiness, and is happiness a scam? Find out in the next episode. Once again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, giving time of your day for me. I appreciate it, and it is going to pay off. I hope you guys end up reaching your purpose, and if you keep listening, I have no doubt that you will. Peace out, everybody, and together, we can mold the future.